How's it going, YouTube? Tyler the Hotshot Hauler here, guys. Guys, let's talk about how to properly buy your first non-CDL hotshot truck and trailer. If you are running non-CDL, the combined GVWRs of your truck and trailer must equal no more than 26,000. Let's talk about your options. So, for your truck, you really only have two, maybe three options. Probably the most common non-CDL size truck is a 3/4 ton pickup. The GVWR on those is usually at 10,000 pounds. On my Ram, I have a 6,000 pound front axle and a 6,000 pound rear axle. Okay, fine and dandy until I hook my trailer to it, and then I'm only able to load about 1,000 pounds on my rear axle before it's overloaded. Wish I had a bigger axle. Okay. So that's probably the most common truck out there used for non-CDL hotshot is a 3/4 ton. However, guys, and this is something that I wish I would have known before I got in the business. If you can afford to buy a brand new custom order truck, when you order them, you can order a D-rated 1-ton pickup. You can also D-rate a 3/4 ton as well if you so choose, but you can D-rate a 1-ton pickup. Now, what does that do for you? So, with both, and this is for both Ford and Ram, you can get a single rear wheel D-rated down from, I think it's like 12.2 or 12.3, something like that on the GVWR. You can get it D-rated down to 10K. So then it's literally takes the place of your 3/4 ton. And it has a stronger rear axle. It moves you up to a 7,000 pound rear axle. It also has the, if you so choose, and I would recommend to do this, get the high output Cummins for the truck. That gives you extra horsepower, extra torque, but more importantly, it gives you a better transmission. It gets rid of the garbage 68 RFE and gives you the Aisin transmission. Much stronger, much more reliable, weighs about 100 pounds more though than the 68 RFE, so it's going to be a little heavier, but it's a lot better transmission. Okay, 68 RFE is basically a light duty transmission. Aisin transmission is like a medium duty transmission, so it's a bigger, better built transmission. It'll last you a lot longer, give you more torque, all that type of stuff. If you go up to a 1-ton dually, you are able to get it D-rated down to 12K. So what that would mean is then you would have a incredibly strong rear axle. Then you get the upgraded engine and transmission. Okay, your rear axle goes up from a 7,000 pound axle on a single rear wheel to 9,000 pound plus axle on your rear axle. What does this do for you? Well, if you move up to a 1-ton, you get a stronger truck, a longer lasting truck, and you're not going to have to worry about overloading the axles as much. Obviously, if you get a dually, it's impossible, basically. But if you move up to a single rear wheel 1-ton, it gives you a lot stronger rear axle, much easier to not overload that axle, okay? I have overloaded my rear truck axle on my truck on more times than I can count. It's super easy to do as a non-CDL. It's just, unless if you have a really long trailer to get that weight really far back, there's only so much you can do sometimes. So definitely something to think about, guys. Now, talking about trailers. Really, for your trailer options, you have to pick if you want to go short and heavy or long and not so heavy. Okay. I run a 28-footer and I have a 30-footer as well. The reason why I run a shorter trailer is because I have to be able to carry at least 10,000 pounds of weight. With both of my setups, I can carry just over 10,000. That is because of my clientele. I haul a lot of construction equipment. I haul Mini X's, I haul a ton of skid steers if you've watched the channel. For me, if I couldn't haul 10,000 pounds, it would kill me. Also, I have the shorter trailer though, because when I run throughout the city, it's easier to drag a trailer that's shorter than it is to drag it longer. I mean, especially if you do a lot of like deliveries in the city and stuff like I do. That's what works for me. Okay, now, however, if you run a 40-foot trailer, you are going to have a lot more freight options if you run the road, because a lot of freight is long but not that heavy. Now, your weight is going to drop down. So let's say with a 30-foot trailer, let's say you can carry 10K. Okay, let's just say. If you go up to a 40-foot trailer, your weight is probably going to drop down to about 85 to 9,000 pounds max. The reason for that is because For every foot of trailer you add, depending on the manufacturer, it adds anywhere from about 100 to 150 pounds. So let's say for every 2 feet, you add 300 pounds. So 300 pounds for every 2 foot, you take that times 5, that adds 10 foot. That would make your trailer weigh about an extra 1,500 pounds. It's probably going to weigh a little bit less than that, but that automatically makes it so now your max weight is anywhere from about 8,500 pounds to about 9,000. So a lot of guys want that because they're like, okay, well, that's enough weight. Well, yeah, that is enough weight for the majority of cargo. However, 40-foot containers is a huge market out there, guys. A empty 40-foot container can range anywhere from like 8,000 pounds to about 10,000 pounds. So you could get into the 40-foot container market, but to do that, you're going to have probably a 1-ton dually for your truck, because even with a single rear wheel truck, if you have a 40-foot container sitting right up against the front of your trailer, it's probably going to overload that axle. So you're probably going to have to get the dually option if you want to do trailer, or if you want to do 40-foot containers. Something to think about. However, though, a lot of 40-foot containers aren't just bone empty. A lot of them have stuff in them. So you're going to be hitting a very limited market. And if the container happens to weigh more than 8,500 pounds, let's say, you're screwed. You are going to be overweight. That's just what it is. It's just like with every manufacturer. Every container is built differently. They all weigh differently. Yes, they all kind of weigh in a certain range, just like hotshot trailers, but they weigh differently. That's just the reality of it. For your trailer options, for your axles and your GVWR, you really only have 2 options as non-CDL. You can run 2 7K axles, like what most guys do. Most of them are on a leaf spring suspension. Or you can run torsion axles up to probably 8K is about the biggest you usually get a torsion axle. Okay, that's what I run on my trailers. I have 2 8,000-pound torsion axles. My GVWR on my trailer is stickered for 16K. Okay, now, with the 8,000-pound axles, my actual trailer payload is actually 12,000. But with my 26K limit for GCWR, I cannot exceed 26K of GVW. I can't go over 26,000 pounds of total weight. So the perk is, with having 2 8,000-pound axles, I never have to worry about the trailer being overloaded on the axles. If you run 7K axles, it is possible to overload those axles. So you have to do a lot more load placement and put more weight on the truck. That's something that, as you get into hot shotting, you just kind of learn. But if you run 7K axles and if you haul a really heavy single item, you can overload your trailer axles. It is possible. So that's why I choose to run 8K axles. I don't have to worry about it. And for your GVWR on your trailer options, you want it to match your truck accordingly. So if your truck has a 10K GVWR, you want your trailer to be as close to 16K as possible. Because the closer you can get to 26K total GCWR, the more weight you can haul. Okay, now, if you get a 10K GVWR truck and a 14K GVWR trailer, you're literally missing out on 2,000 pounds of weight you can haul. So you're shorting yourself. That's why, like PJ and Big Tex, even though their trailers only run 2 7,000-pound axles, their GVWRs are at, like, I think 15.9 for Big Tex and 15.680 for PJ. They do that for tongue transfer, but they do that to help basically the hotshot market, because it helps non-CDL guys be able to carry an extra, 1,500 or 1,900 pounds. So that's why they do that. A lot of manufacturers, though, if they run 2 7K axles, they'll only sticker it for 14K GVWR. So if you ran a D-rated dually down to 12K, you would, if you had a 14K GVWR trailer, that'd be perfect for you. And a lot of guys run that setup. They run a 40-foot with 2 7K axles, 14K GVWR with a 12K D-rated dually. A lot of guys do it who run non-CDL because they can push that load really far forward and not really have to worry about overloading the truck. What it boils down to is preference. I'm not a big fan of dualies, never have been, but the bigger you go, you need to get a dually. That is just the reality. But for non-CDL, I really don't see the purpose in getting a dually. The biggest I would get would be a D-rated 1-ton single rear wheel, and that's just solely for the upgraded engine, transmission, and the rear axle. That's what I would do. If you're going to go out and spend the money to buy a dually, you might as well go CDL. And guys, I've preached this in the past. Non-CDL is a great way to get your feet wet in hot shotting and great way to learn. But the reality is once you get invested in this business, you're going to learn that the more weight you can carry and the more cargo you can fit on your trailer, the more money you're going to make. So it's a great way to start, but then you're going to get stuck. And you're going to be stuck like I am, where I'm fully invested with $40-some thousand worth of trailers, you know, an $80,000 truck that I bought during the shortage too, so that didn't help anything. But you get invested, and to get out of that investment is only going to cost you more and more money. So the last thing you want to do though is spend all this money and be stuck as a non-CDL hotshot like me, because right now I am stuck for the foreseeable future until I can make enough money to justify getting a new truck and getting a new trailer to work CDL hotshot, and that's something for way down the road. Guys, it boils down to three things when you're trying to pick out your non-CDL truck and trailer. One, you want to be as close to 26K GCWR as possible. Two, you have to make a decision. Do you want to have a shorter trailer and be able to carry more weight and less long cargo, or do you want to have a longer trailer, be able to carry less weight and more long cargo? And guys, that is the gamble right there. My advice on that is probably, if you plan on being a hot shotter that runs the road for weeks on end, I would probably get a longer trailer over a shorter one. A lot of cargo out there is long but not heavy. And that's always, guys, just kind of a gamble, because it really doesn't matter what you do. If the right freight is not where you are, it really doesn't matter anyways. Okay, and there's nothing you can do to control that. It's just about right place, right time, right equipment, all right? Finally, guys, you have to figure out what you can afford. You know, for you to go out and buy a brand new truck, brand new trailer to get into hot shotting, you're probably looking at about no less than $100,000 by the time it's all said and done. Also, when you buy new equipment, your insurance is going to be much higher, okay? I will tell you, my first year of insurance with brand new equipment killed me. My annual price was $18,000, okay? A buddy of mine started hot shotting. He bought some equipment that was used, and his insurance was at about $12K. So his insurance was, in his first year, was literally what the price of my renewal is for this upcoming year. Getting into non-CDL hotshot was probably one of the most stressful, and still is some days, but also one of the most exciting and rewarding things that I've ever done in my life. It is a great feeling to be an owner-operator, be your own boss. You have some weeks that are really good, some weeks that really suck. But overall, I really enjoy it. I would say about at least 3/4 of the time, all right? So, but anyways, guys, that's going to sum it up. If you have any comments or questions about trucks, trailers, anything like that, please don't hesitate to throw them in the comment section or any other comments you may have. If you enjoyed this video, please shoot me a like and a subscribe, and stay tuned for more hotshot content. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.